What's up, y'all? It's a part two, I guess, of the earlier live. I kind of forgot some of the points that I had made, but I did listen to like a quarter of the video, and I was like, you need to go back live and solidify certain things. Oh, also, I had forgot. Remember, not my last live, but the live before the last one. Hold on. But the live before the last one, where I had put a post up, and I was like, I saw that I've self projected an energy, and I was gonna talk about it later, and I never did come back and talk about it. So what that energy was the fact that I was reading out of the book. Damn, see, I had even forgot that with that last message that I wasn't gonna read out the book no more based on the self projection of somebody else's space that I ended up doing. Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. But anyway, yeah, I had projected the perspective of the space that the author of the book was in, and that had threw my it threw me off though. It just threw me off. But anyway, what's up, peaceful vibes? What it do? I just want to come jump back on real quick because you know how you never mind. I'll keep that to myself. So let's just see what type of energy that we working with at the moment. Now, hopefully, I don't get distracted in this setting, and I'm gonna try to pace myself and take my time. Okay, so two cards came out. We're gonna use both of these. Mars in the reverse and the moon came out. I was trying to go to ass in the house. Hold on. Okay, my bad, y'all. Anyway, back to the message. I was self projecting the position of an author, and the author's position in that book was it was talking about darkness and lightness and um just the yin and yangs for real. And I ain't like how it was portraying and it was affecting my personal perspective. But long story short, the conclusion I came to was that you need to just don't read out these books, especially not that one. That was that dark round card, that dark round deck. Now I will, reference the numerology deck, but the whole narrative of a deck, I'm gonna cease myself into using those. Like something like astrology, I don't need to use no book for that. And some like numbers out the number deck that I personally got right now, the deck doesn't get biased and opinionated too tough. You know what I'm saying? But let me tap in though. Let me tap in. Let me tap in. Who is in here need the message, or who am I tapping into? So let's see the energy though. Let's see the energy. Damn, I forgot. I had pulled already Mars and motherfucking the moon. Okay, that shit went back in the deck, so we gonna count that out. I wasn't feeling the energy any motherfucking way. Okay, so we got Aquarius, the visionary, or that 11th space. You know what I'm saying? The collective, the rebellious. It's only rebellious because they have their own perspective, and anything that's like trying to um oppose that, it's kind of they're not going for it when it comes to that Aquarius type energy or whatever. This one didn't necessarily come out, but Scorpio. I had to pull it out. It didn't even come out. I just chose it. Scorpio is that raw energy. Scorpio is that transformation, the death. It purifies, or it needs to be purified, depending on what side of the scale you're on. This is also coupled. Huh? Give it to somebody else. I'm gonna give it to a boy. Go. You need to go in the house. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Scorpio needs to be purified, or is the purifier, because it's gonna go through death and transformation. Sometimes Scorpio puts itself in a situation where it has to die, but at least it does transform. One more card. Virgo energy. Virgo is that analysis, just the routines and the patterns. Virgo is in a south node at the moment. A lot of these things that you have details, maybe hopefully you have the full scope of these things. Those routines and those patterns that create your behavior in your material world, those things hopefully have been evaluated or analyzed or worked on. And if not, this is the moment to do that. Work on these things currently. Maintain your routines, because once Virgo leaves the south node, the energy for us to work on these things is going to kind of dissipate in a certain sense. Not to say that it's going to be completely go- Hold on. I can't believe this. Uh-huh. The transformations of these routines. Hold on. What I was going to say? These routines and patterns, though, if you have the correct type of routines and patterns, it can actually transform your situation. Say you're in a position that you're needing to change, or you don't know how things can take a different form. The first thing that you can do is do something continually on a routine and pattern schedule. Like, do these things with intention, especially. That's why Virgo gives that, like, that nurturing energy, or that materialization energy, for real. Really, Taurus gives me materialization, but Virgo materializes too, is also an earth energy too. So having intentions behind these routines, and intentionally, and the routines being something that you intentionally keep up with, especially during this time with Virgo being in the south node. But anyway, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Virgo. And if everybody was to do that on a collective level, won't the world change? Of course. And I guess people are already doing that, because once you're in your own individual space, because Aquarius is 11, those are two different individual perspectives coming together and having like minds. And once an individual is in their own space, and that becomes a behavior pattern and a routine, then they have no. I forgot what the point was, but once they do that long enough, that kind of separates them. I guess that was my point. By default, it'll separate you from others who aren't on that same type of wavelength. Because I ain't gonna say the same thing, because if you're an individual, you ain't finna find nobody who's individual exactly like you. But the quality of the separation can draw other people who have also went through that same situation, or same shedding of such. So let me see, what deck should I pull out of? This is gonna be a quick reader, for real, for real, for real. We're gonna read out the routine and pattern deck. It's not really a routine and pattern. Oh, I forgot about the numerology deck, but I'm a hold that. We already read out the numerology deck today. But the routine and pattern, because this gets like basic bitch vibes. It's like the clarity deck about your everyday human being experience. And that kind of puts what I'm reading, puts me in a space, or puts the message in a space of some type of practical situation that could be going on, and um how you could operate through them. There was much that I wanted to say, and you know how that is. If I ain't write it down, or it'll come up when need though. Let me just leave that right there. Okay. Oh, because we were talking about Lilith energies earlier too. Yeah. Metamorphosis Mirage. I still might read out that number deck. Metamorphosis Mirage in the, hold on. This is in an upright. In the reversal would have been Transform and Rise. So Transform and Rise, you have already like burnt through the truth, and now it's time to use what you have gathered to actually create and become what it is that you have no choice but to be at this point of transformation. Like, once the baby's born, it can't be in the womb no more. What up, everybody in the chat? What it do? Okay, so we got, like I said, the Metamorphosis of Mirage. It's time to be now. Okay. Two more. It was, oh, I was talking about Lilith. Because Lilith came out. Lilith is currently in Scorpio at the moment. So a lot of these deep things that you have to transform out of, or have transformed out of, the whole processing and the whole thing that made that event come about, could be some things that have you insecure. Or not necessarily that they have you insecure, but it's just an insecurity that, you know what I'm saying, that is a part of the makeup of who you could be. And it's just a good time to work through those things, recognize those things, and deal with not being insecure. Because after, the polarity of insecurity is power. So once you find how you don't have to be insecure about these things, because this is how you are, what shaped and molded you, and you love yourself, then you'll be able to use these same things that someone could quote as being, oh, wow, hold on. Okay, no more distractions, for real. Next time I get distracted, I'm gonna go. Okay, but anyway, the insecurities turning into power. That's one deep transformation. Lilith also has scorpionic energy, the quality of death and rebirth in it. So with Lilith, I'm finna go. With Lilith, having that obtain, already having that energy, and Scorpio being in that space, like, yeah, this is the great time to take power and control over your aura system, because a lot of these things can be trapped in your aura system. And when I say trapped, it's trapped only because you're not aware of it, and you're not noticing how this is a color that you are embodying at whatever moment, or just in general. But once you are aware of these things, and you have you can see your darkness because your aura, or you can see what's unseen from others because you can just know in your heart, then that creates a powerful dynamic to where you're the only one that can obtain that energy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to go too deep. Let me not go too deep. Oh, the next card is Embrace the Unknown. It's in the reverse. That's what we were just talking about. The things that you may not necessarily be aware of. That is a shape of who you are. Like, this is an expression of you, and it's unbeknownst to you because you can't see yourself from the external. You can only be aware and experience your reality from your position that you're in. Although you can know yourself better than anyone who can experience you from the external can, because you are in your own space. You can even perceive yourself through a video like what I'm doing right now, or a damn recording or some shit. But the point that I'm trying to make is, because see, this is in the reverse. So in the upright will be cloud of unknowing. In the reverse, it's like, in order to even be in that cloud of unknowing with confidence, you got to first embrace that this is ahead, or this is a part of it, or, you know what I'm saying, this is what is already inevitable, because it is who I am, and let me embrace these things. Because as long as I stay on my routine and pattern, Virgo South Node energy, I should be able to cover the scope, not to overthink about these things, but to already have um a certain system down when it comes to how you be, I guess. Let me read it. So, venture into the mystery with an open heart. Hold on. Wow, I can't believe it. I thought I was in a perfect scenario to not be distracted. See, this, should I? This is the color of my insecurity. This triggers a I ain't gonna go there. Not gonna go there right now. Okay. Anyways, we'll talk about it, but not right now. Cause I said if I get distracted one more time, I was finna go. Hold on, y'all. I am finna go. Wait a second. Wait a second. Can y'all give me a second? Can you give me a second? Hold on. See, you see how you can't hide. You're not. It's not possible for you to hide from yourself, from your experience and shit. So you might as well appreciate it and value it. Yeah, we already know that, but you might as well accept it. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, we'll go right here. And to accept it, I ain't finna accept it. Look, don't worry about what I got going on. Okay, back to the motherfucking reading though. Back to the message. Okay. Where was I at? Cloud of unknowing. The cloud of unknown. Float on the, hold up. This is in the reverse. In the reverse was embrace the unknown. Venture into the mystery with an open heart, welcoming the lessons hidden in the uncertainty. Because in the uncertainty, you may be afraid of mistakes. You may be afraid of being exposed, shit like that. But if you just venture out into this shit anyway, allow the mistakes to happen and allow you to become exposed or embarrassed, because that's that Lilith and Scorpio type of energy. You'll be able to like live in that and calibrate what needs to be calibrated based on how you want your life to be for real. Or, you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to understand your reality, understand yourself, and you'll be able to work through these things with some type of judgment and, some clarity. In the reverse, and see, these things are unknown. So it's best, it's not to say that you can pre-plan or you can already know how things are going to unfold of the space that you need to be in, the things that you actually carry, and you'll know how to handle these things better than anybody else. It's just like somebody trying to keep. That's like somebody trying to drive my car, was a car that may have some issues only the owner knows about. You don't know how I crank my car up with my foot light. Not me personally. It's not my situation specifically, but I'm just saying a person may not know how I crank my car up with my foot tapped on the gas slightly or whatever the case may fucking be, and that could cause you know what I'm saying. That would be you understanding your situation and knowing how to correct these things based on what's available to you or whatever, and then that accumulation, that routine, that pattern will create a more stable scenario and reality for you. Now in the reverse, cloud of unknowing. No, in the upright is cloud of unknowing. This is where you are either headed or where you came from. Float on clouds of the unknown. Surrender to the mystery and embrace the sacred within. This will be you being confident in this unknowing, because you already know whatever there is that you could possibly be so-called embarrassed about or so-called exposed for. It's not nothing out of the norm. It's not nothing that you actually give a fuck about. It's not something that, you know what I'm saying, that is an insecurity that hasn't been transformed into a power. You see the power dynamic in it and you understand the whole lesson out of it, period, because that's what it's saying. Anyways, I got one more card I want to pull, and let me go ahead on and because I'm waiting on somebody right now, and I thought this was the perfect situation because the situation is not completed, but I'm gonna go wait over there. All right. This is in the reverse. I never got this card before. Divinely guided in the reverse. In the upright, it would have been spirit link. So this is like walking blindfolded, but understanding that you are being led correctly. Say you got someone's hand that you trust, and that hand that we're talking about internally or esoterically speaking is your own intuitive understanding and your own knowings that you have in your heart space. And You may not necessarily understand the mechanisms and the workings of that yet, but you do know that you're carrying the right vibe in order to be protected. Or I don't necessarily want to use the word protected because it's not anything that you need to be worried about to even be protected. But you're just doing whatever happens was for a purpose that you'll be able to understand, and like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't doing things fully blinded because you're divinely guided. So it's like understanding or having a comprehension of the vibration, but not maybe necessarily understanding the direct direction. You can't necessarily see the target fully, but you know that you're getting close to that type shit. But spirit link is in the upright. So in the reverse, trust the wisdom of the universe or your connection to life, and remain open to receiving guidance as your journey through life's mysteries, because the guidance that you can receive don't have to come through individuals or people. This can come through life itself. It could come through nature. And this is how you build upon that intuitive eye, that inner eye, to where you can actually be walking with your eyes closed but can see, type shit. But right now you're walking with your eyes closed so that you can learn how to see with your eyes closed. Not you necessarily, but this is just the energy. And it ain't got to be you necessarily. It could be a new situation, because this is a new energy as far as us being in spring. The number 7 has been popping up a lot into my awareness to let me know that individuals could be in a new space for the first time, but with a sort of awareness, or maybe on the opposite end of the scale, no awareness. And you know what I'm saying? But the materialization is going to be something not yet fully. It's going to be something that's being materialized and manifested in every moment, for real. Even when these things are so small on the scale to where you can't necessarily be tangibly noticed. They can't tangibly be noticed or visibly be noticed, but they're understood because, you've been through um, this rigmarole enough to know that this is what's next. After a death comes a birth. After something leaves, there is a reaction to that. After something grows or comes in, there's a reaction to that. You know that. So, in the upright spirit link, stay aligned with your highest dreams and ideals to find success. Okay. Spirit link will be you having the wider perspective, and that allows you to have some type of alignment because you can see things before they even come, for real. You're able to foresee the the energies or the vibes based on the flow that you already been dancing in and the current vibration of yourself. That's why it's important to in the moment. And then this is Taurus season right now, so value these moments. And if you can't find value in a moment, do something. Find something to actually do that becomes that makes that moment valuable. And notice the reciprocation, the give and the take, how things react to your actions, and that allow you to sense the pattern that you create every moment that you may not be paying attention to. But if you pay attention to these things, you'll be able to sense the pattern, and then you can be on some spirit link type shit. You feel me? You'll be able to puppeteer certain things based off of not manipulation necessarily, but it is, but not in no dark type of manipulative way. This is just a part of life. This is how you're supposed to live. You got to I got to manipulate the air out my mouth and my tongue in order to have these words and shit. I got to manipulate myself to even much express what's in my heart and in my mind right now. So not in a dark way, but you see, that's where Scorpio turns into power type shit. Now I'm gonna go. Appreciate y'all for sitting here with me. I don't even think I got off my chest what I wanted to get off my chest, but it's all good. I'm gonna be more consistent. Summertime is here too, though. Y'all know what that means if you've got any children. But my kids, don't worry about it. Let me keep them in their space because they're gonna have something to do in the summertime too. What's up, Nicholas? I should have turned on the share live button, but it don't matter because I'm finna go. All right, y'all. I fuck with y'all. I appreciate y'all for listening. And whatever I didn't get off my chest today, I'm gonna get it off later on sometime this week. Remember y'all may not even know because it was a post that I had made about one of my previous readings, and I forgot to come back on here and elaborate what I was talking about. But rewind, because I was saying that in the post, what a card is that? that I had caught myself self-projecting, and it wasn't. So what I caught was the book that I was reading out of had some connotations that was coming from their angle when they use certain words like dark and light, high and low, and I don't necessarily agree with. That's not necessarily the angle that I was trying to come. Anyway, the long story short is that I'm not necessarily going to be reading out of all of these books. Like I did just read out of the clarifying light situation, but the deck in particular that I'm talking about was that round dark deck I like to use. I don't like the perspective of the author necessarily. As well with this book right here, this deck right here. It's really all of them for real because I didn't write the deck. So I'm gonna, and I almost forgot again to not read because I did read, but I'm just gonna keep it in this more pure state so I don't have to follow a narrative. That's why I like number cards and color cards, things like that, because that'll make me have to do nothing but see it from my position only, and the symbols will not be so specific in where that person's mind is. I can take these symbols how I please without anybody clarifying their angle of a situation that they not even aware of. And I felt like that's what was happening when I was reading that deck, when I was reading that book out the deck. But anyway, peace. Hey, Xavier. All right, peaceful vibes. Bye, y'all.